So last week we got to build this giant A10 Warthog and we flew it through the air.
Oh my gosh! It's in the air!
If you haven't seen that video yet, it's really cool. We have a link down in the description below. Check it out. This thing, we're gonna be putting an airsoft gun in and shooting stuff with it. A10 Warthogs, they shoot tanks. So it would be irresponsible of us not to build a giant tank to shoot with our A10 Warthog. So that's what we're gonna be doing today. So watch for the end of this video because wherever we are in the process of getting the airsoft gun and the A10, we'll put a teaser of that at the end. It's been a little more challenging than we originally thought, but it's tank time. This is foam board like you can buy at the dollar store. We have our own special stuff. It's brown, it lasts longer, it's water resistant, so that's what I'm gonna be building out of today. But I'm gonna show you how you can use very simple building techniques to build whatever crazy projects you want and make it super light and super cool and super cheap. What we're gonna need is a razor blade, a straight edge, and a hot glue gun. So the first thing we do whenever we go to build something is research. So I've typed into Google, tank. So because we're building a tank out of foam board that is flat, I'm looking for tanks that are pretty angular so I don't have to do much curving. I like this tank. So now that we've got our basic idea of what our tank is going to look like, its general shape, you can just start building straight from your mind, which is often what I like to do. Growing up, I did a lot of building out of cereal boxes, that kind of thing, and I always just eyeballed stuff because I didn't have cool computer programs. But here at Flight Test, I have an awesome team that we all work together to come up with great ideas and take stuff to the next level. So Josh has come up with
a tank. Well, actually, that's a picture of a tank. But what we do here is we take the 3 view of the tank, we break it down into common shapes that are very simple to recreate. From that, I make something like this. It doesn't look like a tank, but if you dissect that down the middle, you see the tank treads, you see the overshield, you see the main components, top turret, that we're gonna need to recreate. From that point, I go ahead and I start breaking down those components and putting more definition into it and building something like this. Once I get the basic shapes I want, I start adding more shapes and more details to it and breaking apart the individual pieces and then giving the thicknesses. So I can go to my 3 view at any time I need to go to it and say how wide do I need to make my tank treads? I take this width and I stitch it onto this piece here. And slowly what we do is we stitch piece by piece together and it gives us the ability to create a tank. The only problem is the foam doesn't come in 12-foot lengths here like we need. So what we then do is once we get all our pieces, we break it down and we take the width of our foam and we section it. At that point, we can seam it together and we can recreate the tank. We got all the pieces of the tank broken down into 3 views. It's really quite simple.
So if you don't have CorelDRAW or skills with AutoCAD programs like that, you can still do this kind of thing just with graph paper and a pencil, measuring out how big you want your end result to be, breaking it down into its geometric shapes and going from there. Now we do have a fancy laser that we like to use that cuts this out for us in exact dimensions. It speeds up the process a lot for us so that we can make more videos for you guys. But I'm gonna show you some simple techniques where you can apply these with a razor blade and your straight edge, and you can build all this yourself. I'm going to be starting with the thing that goes over the treads because that'll give us a flat foundation to start building off of. The treads are U, so they're a little floppy. Yeah, I'm gonna start there. Standard sheet of foam board, and I got my dimensions of 2 inches, 11 inches, 12 inches, and 3 inches. And each one of these will fold into each other to create that U shape and then a little shelf. I'm going to line up 2 inches, make a mark, 2 inches, mark it. I don't want to cut through the paper on the backside because the backside's going to keep it all in one piece. So I'm gonna take the tip of my razor blade and I'm gonna dull it so as I go through the top layer, I don't cut all the way through. Join me. Just at an angle. I scrape that tip off, line up my thing, and we have our first cut. Since we've dulled that tip, we'll come back like this with the tip raised high. You come all the way down through again, and that'll make sure it cuts all the way to the paper, but because that's dull, it won't go through the paper. Now, Here's the cool part. We take about the thickness of the foam distance away from this line inwards. And we cut another line parallel. Go back over it and crack it open. That peels right off. And when we fold this up, it'll be 90 degrees. Now there's two different folds that we can do with this channel. One is an A fold where the side plate goes above the bottom plate. A above. The other kind is a B fold, and that's where the side plate goes beside the bottom plate. Remove the foam. And now I've got two. And that will be our tank cover. Now there's one more thing that I want to do before we start gluing this together. As we get more of these laid out, I want to overlap them. I'm gonna take a 1/4 of an inch-ish. Now when we have our next piece, and with some hot glue on there, that'll give us a nice clean seam. Got the tread covers done. They are taking shape, and now using these same basic building techniques, we're gonna build the rest of the body of the tank. Check this out. You think we can get this done tomorrow?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we just got to we got to finish off the front deck. We got to build our barrel, put some scale things, and then we're gonna put the treads on the bottom, which aren't gonna actually work, but they're gonna look like they work, which is really important. And
But we're not gonna tell them that.
We're not gonna tell you guys that. Strip that out. It's getting edited out right now.
This is looking really sick. I'm proud of the way this is looking. There are some areas on the tank that have curved pieces, and I want to show you how to do those pieces when you're doing your own builds. On the back of the tank, there's two barrels that will be rounded. There's also going to be the front and the back of the treads themselves. They'll have a curve like this. It's really easy how you do this. You take your piece that you want to put your curve on, you peel up the edge of the paper, and it doesn't peel right. And you rip it off, and it already starts to curve. Then we take it to the edge of the table. You press flat here, you grab here, you bend it over, and I did it too hard, and you kind of rock it over the edge. And the harder you pull, the more of a curve it's going to give. So if you want a lighter curve, don't put as much pressure. Harder curve will give you more of a bend. And that's how you create all of your bend areas of whatever you're building. You can then cut a channel on each side that give you a foam tab. And then when you have a piece that sits in there, you just glue it like that to give you your cover on the side. And voila, you got your rounded piece.
So Jeremy's showing you some amazing, easy techniques. We want everyone to be able to recreate and dream big and build big. A lot of times people think with complex curves that they need to, go through a complicated CAD program. This is a $2.50 Taylor measuring tape for fabric, for clothes, to get inseam. So say you have a piece like this and it's very difficult to kind of guesstimate exactly how wide it needs to be. We can now just simply wrap this around and get the exact measurement we need to get a perfect fit every time. You don't need to go to a complicated computer to calculate this. You can do it simply with a $2.50 measuring tape.
Oh, I feel like a big kid. I just want to sit in it. Oh, Jeremy.
Wow, that's really heavy out front. But look at that.
I just got back from this trip and I saw this sweet tank that Jeremy built. When I got back, it didn't move or anything, and it's a tank, it's supposed to move. So, first thing, I put a really big servo, pretty much, in this. So it'll, I can move back and forth. See one half of it right here. It's 2 pieces of plywood on top of each other with a Lazy Susan in the middle, and then a really big servo that I took the potentiometer out of so it continuously rolls. And then I bolted a landing gear plane wheel on it so it just continuously touches the top edge of the wood, so it just goes back and forth. The reason why I use the wheel method is to reduce the gear, because if I just attached it direct, it would burn out the servo. But by putting it further away, it's traveling more distance, which travels this a very small distance. So it gears it down. If it's just one part moving, it's not a tank still. So I put 2 wheels on the treads. I put this big beam that will sit on top of an RC car, so we can just drive it around like a tank.
Ah! Oh, this thing's amazing.
I've worked out my expressions.
I'm a big fan.
I feel like this is one of
Jeremy,
those,
you crushed it, dude.
Thanks, man.
I feel like this is like one of those dummy tanks that like the military uses to like drive out into a field, and it's like not a real tank, but it looks like a real tank. That's what this
exactly what it is.
It's-
Because we're shooting it with
That's
a tank.
yes. You make an excellent point.
All right, we ready to wheel this out?
Dude, this thing is crazy.
Let's wheel it.
This is like as big as my Honda Civic.
I feel like I should help in some way, but I don't know what to do.
It is 12 feet in length.
You were very strong.
Holy moly.
Dude, they're lifting a tank.
Does this scale weight? Because those guys are monsters.
Well, I am the Incredible Hulk, so yes.
So how much does it weigh?
See that lead weight on the back?
Yeah.
I think the whole tank weighs about that.
Oh, look at that.
The top moves?
What are you saying, Jeremy?
All right, let's see if it drives.
Drive me around. Take me on a epic journey. Take me on a... Oh, look at that guy.
That's amazing, man.
What's the
This is so fun.
Dude, that mechanism with the car is unbelievable. Look at that.
That's so funny.
Oh man, it's Rumble Bumble, dude.
I think it really gets cooking.
Dude, Jeremy, my man. Chadwick, my man, crushed it.
Excellent work.
So you're gonna shoot this thing with a big A10, huh?
So guys, here's what I'm thinking: is this is flight test? It's not tank test.
Right.
But what we can do maybe is if we hit 1 million subscribers, which you guys brought us up over 900,000 already, If we hit 1 million subscribers, we'll make this tank fly. What do you think?
We'll try.
We'll make it fly, we'll make it epic.
Now, I promised you guys that I would put a teaser at the end of the video of where we are with the A10 video, so here it is.
Oh, shoot.
Don't worry, we're gonna make this work. We're gonna shoot this tank. It's gonna be awesome. So subscribe, help us get to that 1 million subscribers, and we'll see you in the next video.
See you next time.
Woo!